Our colleagues at Public Health have tallied the number of heat-related deaths, and currently we're at 202 confirmed deaths with 356 still under investigation. These last 2 years have been different. I do think that the environment, again, it's hard to ignore 31 days of above 110 degrees in a row and really shattering all of the previous records. But at the same time, it's really, really important to not lose focus on the increased number of vulnerable people in our society to these kinds of things. But it is important to understand that with heat-related deaths and lots of other things, we're really focused on acute effects of things. So if somebody has an air conditioner that breaks and suddenly they're in a hot residence and they die of that, we're going to capture those cases. If somebody dies out working at their job because of exposure to the heat, we're going to capture those cases. The cases we can miss, though, are the subtle sort of chronic effects. So if you have somebody who, say, has heart disease, they've had it for years and years and years, they eventually die of their heart disease, maybe they go to the hospital, they end up in the ICU, they die. There's no acute event that sort of started any of this. We won't be able to see those counts if heat has an effect. And the way it might have an effect is that just that stress over many, many years might shorten somebody's lifespan. So maybe they would have lived 3 years longer if they hadn't lived in an environment where they're exposed to a lot of heat. You can't find those sort of in a case-by-case scenario. Every summer, it's usually July, we'll see maybe 25% above sort of our baseline month surge. So in 2022, it was 48%, and that's the first time we had seen that. And then this past summer, it was 63%. So obviously, heat has something to do with that difference between 48 and 63.
Like I said, one was placed for ED in 3 years.
Well, not.
There was one in the last 3 years.
Well, the one that I gave myself this morning was.
We've been overwhelmed. We've been on news. We've seen, dozens and dozens of cases where people could have lost their life. We've seen temperatures of many people 107 and greater, where we had to put them in ice baths to try to save their lives. Unfortunately, not everyone got saved. So heat stroke is the one that we never want. Hard for us to treat, hard for the patients, and if you're at that temperature for more than 5 minutes or so, brain damage, certainly organ damage is very, very high likelihood. What we see in those patients is they're unconscious, comatose, temperatures, as high or greater than 107, okay? But it doesn't really matter because lots of times they're cooled off by the time they get here. They've just had a high temperature. We see people who maybe can't answer us, okay? They have many times beforehand nausea, vomiting. They might have trouble breathing. They might develop heart attacks. They might develop kidney failure. it's been very, very unfortunate. I hope this is a wake-up call for us to do something about it, because we all predict that it's going to be very hot next July and August. And we need to do something better for our people in Arizona.
Great.